Today I'm going to show you a thrilling action movie titled In the Blood. Be ready for spoilers ahead. The movie begins with 15-year-old Ava waking up in the dark of the night to the sound of intruders breaking into their home, intending to kill her father. Ava swiftly moves toward them in the lobby brandishing a knife. However, the goons kill her father right in front of her. Ava's father had trained her from childhood to face the world's harsh realities like this, transforming her fear into fierce determination. Ava bravely picks up the gun and kills both the goons one by one. 12 years later, Ava has just emerged from rehab and is on the brink of a new chapter in her life. She's about to marry her sweetheart Derek. However, Derek's father urges him to rethink the decision, concerned that Ava might relapse into her old habits and lack of knowledge about her family background. Even so, Derek remains steadfast, placing his complete trust in Ava and their future together. The couple ties the knot in a church ceremony surrounded by family and friends. Shortly thereafter, the newlyweds traveled to Caribbean island for their honeymoon. One evening, Ava and Derek dined at a charming seaside restaurant, engrossed in a romantic conversation while taking in the breathtaking ocean view and the tranquil ambience. Derek excuses himself to go to the restroom, asking Ava to not go anywhere. A stranger named Manny shows up with a charming smile. He compliments her and expresses interest in getting to know her. However, Ava reveals that she is on her honeymoon with her husband. As Ava and Manny exchange pleasantries, Derek steps in and introduces himself. Manny eagerly offers to show them the island's hidden gems and promises an exciting zipline adventure the next day. However, initially, he insists they visit a popular club known for its romantic vibe. Despite his initial hesitation, Derek is still excited, and after some convincing from Ava, he finally agrees. The trio arrives at the nightclub, with flashing lights and contagious enthusiasm. The mood is more electrifying than Manny described. Ava and Derek begin to dance to Spanish music's melodies. However, Big Biz, a local gangster with evil intent, sets sights on beautiful Ava. To create a diversion and pull Derek away from Ava, Big Biz sends a girl to dance with him, grabbing the chance to approach and inappropriately touch Ava. Seeing this, Derek moves in to demand Biz back off his wife. Tensions rise fast and cause a furious confrontation between both of them. Manny steps in to try to defuse the matter, but Biz brutally punches Derek's face. Ava, unable to stand the humiliations anymore, first kicks and punches Biz in the face. Then, one by one, she mercilessly eliminates his associates, displaying extraordinary fighting ability with every exact movement. Silvio, the club's owner, watches and enjoys the fight through cameras. Manny grabs Derek and Ava quickly, driving them away from the club. Sylvia shows up at the club and orders Biz to stop acting disruptively. In the vehicle, Manny remarks he's never seen anything like that and enthusiastically compliments Ava's fighting ability. He also issues a warning. Biz and his group are dangerous and they might retaliate. The next morning, Manny picks them up and leads them to the island's longest zip line, stretching 1 mile. Ava becomes scared and decides to skip the Tyrolean crossing, but Derek is already excited and eager to try. Manny takes the lead and goes first. Derek next takes off, recording himself as he cruises. Everything is going smoothly until Derek's harness begins to weaken and break. Derek discovers his gear has a problem, which forces him to cling to his hands. Jojo and Ava watch in horror as the scene unfolds. Manny quickly reaches Derek, attempting to save him by securing him with his legs. Despite Manny's efforts, Derek's grip slips and falls down into a valley. Ava tells Jojo to call the ambulance before running in Derek's direction shouting for help. She searches for her husband in a dense forest and finally finds him gravely injured and in a very serious condition. Ava and Jojo load Derek into the ambulance while a terrified Manny has already escaped. Ava tries to get in the ambulance to go with her husband, but the paramedics refuse, citing an insurance policy that only permits patient transportation. Despite Ava's desperate pleas, they hand her a hospital card and drive off. Determined, Ava follows the ambulance riding her bike. However, she trips off when she tries to dodge a vehicle. A stranger assists Ava and also drives her to the hospital. The nurse shocks Ava by informing her that no patient named Derek has received an admission. When Ava insists, the nurse tells her that Derek isn't there and that the hospital has no insurance contracts with supplying companies. Ava becomes more confused and feels utterly lost. She calls Derek mobile, following the echo of his ringtone through the hospital. She storms into a room, only to find it isn't Derek. The guard escorts her out, suggesting she check other hospitals. Ava continues her search tirelessly but finds no trace of her husband. The next day, Derek's father and sister arrive at the island. They go to the police station and report a missing person. Ava explains the situation to the inspector, showing Manny's photo, mentioning Jojo, and presenting a hospital card. The inspector speculates that Derek might have been kidnapped, Since wealthy Americans are often targeted for abduction by the gangsters, they visit the zipline with the inspector, where the owner says he doesn't know Manny and is not his employee. The owner leads them to Jojo, whom Ava immediately recognizes. Jojo denies knowing Ava and her husband. He insists to the inspector that he does not know Manny either. Angrily, Ava snatches Jojo by the collar, forcing him to speak the truth. Jojo intimidatingly sticks to his falsehood as the inspector intervenes to quell the mounting anger. The nervous owner calls Ava out of her mind and requests her removal from his property. After showing Ava the video of the club's incident, the inspector is convinced that her violent behavior may have been due to her intoxication. He also believes that she conspired with Biz to have Derek disappear for her financial gain. Furious, Ava storms out and is determined to track her husband on her own. Derek's father also accuses Ava of his son's disappearance in order to claim his wealth. Derek's father leaves Ava on the island the next day and heads back to the States. Ava shows up at the zip line and takes the turn instead of the other tourist. Jojo becomes frightened and attempts to call the zipline owner. However, Ava quickly intercepts him before he has a chance to use his radio. To compel him to disclose the truth, Ava threatens to drop him midway across the zip line. Terrified, Jojo tells her that Manny is behind everything, that he called him and ordered him to lie, and that he doesn't know Manny's current whereabouts. As proof, Ava brings Jojo's confession straight to the inspector, urging him to find Manny so he can locate her husband. Instead of taking action, the inspector orders his officers to arrest her. Ava attempts to escape by punching a police officer, but other cops quickly surround her and take her into custody. They are accusing her of forcing Jojo to confess to a crime while jeopardizing his life, so they plan to send her to Puerto Rico for adjudication. A police officer is assigned to escort Ava on a boat. She requests permission to use the bathroom and asks the police officer for assistance. Once inside, she hits him coldly, rendering him unconscious. Ava frees herself from the handcuffs and quickly jumps off the boat. Afterward, Ava goes back to the club looking for Manny. When she notices him making his way to the restroom, she follows him, shuts the door behind him, and then attacks him. Ava asks Manny about Derek's whereabouts. When he declines, Ava bangs his face against the toilet seat until he speaks. He claims he told Jojo to lie since he feared the police would arrest him for living illegally on the island. Ava asks for the ambulance driver's details. Manny reveals the names of two gangsters, Omar and Tito. He pleads with Ava to spare him, promising to help her find them. Manny and Ava go out to search for Derek early in the morning. Ava suddenly spots a poster on a nearby wall with the same tattoo Omar had on his hand. Manny deciphers the poster and confirms that it refers to a well-known cockfight address. They reach the location quickly, and Manny instructs Ava to remain in the car while he walks into the building in search of the culprits. When Ava spots Tito trying to leave the premises, she decides to track him through the abandoned neighborhood. Tito recognizes Ava and disappears into the building, readying himself for an ambush. When he swings a baseball bat at her, he misses the target. Ava overpowers him and kicks him to the ground. She then interrogates him, puncturing his stomach until he cannot withstand the pain, leading him to admit that his brother Omar received money from a gangster to drop her husband at a specific location, and he knows all the details. Ava texts Omar from Tito's phone, luring him into her traps. When Omar shows up, he attacks and overpowers Ava, compelling her to shoot him dead. Police arrest Ava and charge her with the murders of Tito and his brother Omar. Despite her claims that Derek is alive and her revelation that Tito and Omar admitted to transporting him in the ambulance, the inspector orders Ava's transfer to headquarters for an in-depth investigation. Two policemen lead Ava into the dense forest, and when she realizes they intend to murder her rather than take her to headquarters, she discreetly dislocates her thumb, freeing her hand from the handcuffs. She swiftly dispatches one officer with a lethal slash to the neck. Ava then turns and finishes off the second policeman with a precise strike on the head. The police inspector receives a threatening call from Ava, who demands that he come to his daughter's room. The already panicked inspector retrieves his weapon and heads to the room. Ava threatens to kill his daughter if he doesn't reveal the truth. The inspector reveals that he knows Derek's whereabouts and that the doctor who operated on him mistakenly administered him the wrong drugs, resulting in his death. He also explains the rationale behind his actions. Years ago, he had accidentally impregnated a girl, and that same doctor helped him suppress the case. In return for that favor, he felt obligated to protect the doctor and cover up Derek's case. After hearing the full story, Ava brutally kills the inspector. The following morning, Ava locates and confronts the doctor the inspector had mentioned. After subjecting him to intense torture to extract the truth, the doctor, unable to endure the pain any longer, shows her a secret operating room where the club's owner, Silvio, and his gang are entering with Derek, meaning he's the man behind everything. Ava disguises herself as a nurse and steps into the operating room brandishing a gun. She forces the doctor and Sylvia's henchmen to surrender their weapons, then takes them out one by one. Ava, with her sweetheart, holds Silvio at gunpoint and then drives away with him in his car. Ava contacts Manny to let him know she's on her way, while Derek still holds a gun and aims it at Sylvia. When Sylvia mocks Derek, he responds by shooting him in the leg. Sylvia falls out of the car, but manages to crawl to his men's vehicle and begins chasing them. Manny brings Ava and Derek to his mother's house as some of Silvio's informants provide him with Ava and Derek's location, prompting him and his men to enter Manny's house. They threaten Manny to reveal Derek and Ava's whereabouts, but he refuses to divulge any information. Sylvia and his men search all the nearby houses and question the residents. Ava encounters a man and swiftly kills him from there. Derek bravely defeats another man despite his serious condition. Realizing that several of his henchmen have already been killed by Ava, Sylvia grabs her and challenges her to a physical fight. As Big Biz arrives with the police, Ava swiftly subdues Silvio and presses a knife into his neck. Derek intervenes to stop Ava from killing Silvio and urges her to drop the knife. Big Biz calms Ava carefully and patiently, then takes the knife from her. He then declares that kidnapping or harassing tourists on the island is unforgivable and proceeds to execute Silvio by slitting his throat with a knife in front of everyone. In order to save Ava and Derek from facing any prosecution, Big Biz offers the corrupt police officers twice the amount of money they took from Silvio and orders them to return to America. On the beach, Manny gives them a hug and bids them farewell. Ava expresses her heartfelt gratitude, and as she departs with her husband, Manny shouts eagerly, hoping to see them back on the island soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this.